Well, 15 years ago, today, a group of terrorists hijacked two commercial jetliners and crashed them into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, which caused the buildings to collapse. Nearly 3,000 innocent people lost their lives on that day. Like most of you, I remember exactly where I was and exactly what I was doing on that Tuesday morning. And the images of that day are permanently seared in my memory. I was a 15-year-old sophomore in high school, and I vividly remember, you might laugh, but remember there are people here this morning who weren't even born yet. So. But I vividly remember sitting in my desk in the back of the classroom watching that burning building on TV, and as that second plane came in and hit that second building, I can't describe what I felt in that moment, and I will never forget that day. I'm sure all of you feel the same. Most of us remember a time when we could carry a bottle of water through airport security and walk our loved one to their gate to say goodbye. And we could even do all that with our shoes on. Our world has changed in many ways since September 11th, hasn't it? And those of us who are old enough to remember that day understand why. But what about the next generation? Do high school students today understand how the September 11 terrorist attacks have affected their lives? They probably don't think much about having to take their shoes off at the airport. That's just normal to them. That's all they've ever known. Well, the 20th century Spanish philosopher George Santayana famously said that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. It is dangerous to neglect history because history helps us understand why the world is the way it is, so that hopefully we can avoid repeating our mistakes. What will happen if we don't teach our kids about the September 11 terrorist attacks and how they changed the world we live in? Will they just accept that national debt, massive national debt, and long foreign wars are normal? Here's where I'm going with this. Our children will not automatically inherit our national memory of the September 11 terrorist attacks. Their lives have been permanently affected by those events, but they will not understand the magnitude of that day unless we teach them. In the same way, our children will not automatically inherit our faith. They may grow up in a Christian home, and their lives may be influenced by our faith. But if we want them to believe in God, then we need to teach them about God. Study after study has shown that the church in America is shrinking, and that young Christians are exiting the church in large numbers. According to a recent study from the Pew Research Center, 85% of Americans born before 1945 identify as Christian. 85%. While only 56% of millennials identify as Christians. A CNN article about this study said this, I quote, "Each successive generation of Americans includes fewer Christians. To put it simply, older generations of Americans are not passing along the Christian faith as effectively as their forebears." End quote. Church, parents, we we are failing to teach the next generation about God. But this is not a new problem. The book of Judges tells us that Israel also failed to teach their children about God. We read the book of Judges today and we wonder how Israel could be so disobedient. How could they turn away from God so many times? Why didn't they ever learn from their past failures? We find answers to these questions in Judges chapter 2. And Judges chapter 2 also has some important lessons for us about the importance of teaching our children. So please turn with me to Judges chapter 2 and follow along as I read verses 6 through 15. Judges 2, starting at verse 6. When Joshua dismissed the people of Israel went each to his inheritance to take possession of the land. And the people served the Lord all the days of Joshua and all the days of the elders who outlived Joshua, who had seen all the great work that the Lord had done for Israel. And Joshua, the son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110 years. And they buried him within the boundaries of his inheritance in Timnath-Heres, in the hill country of Ephraim, north of the mountain of Gaish. And all that generation also were gathered to the fathers. And there arose another generation after them, who did not know the Lord or the work that he had done for Israel. And the people of Israel did what was evil in the sight of the Lord and served the Baals. And they abandoned the Lord, the God of their fathers, who had brought them out of the land of Egypt. They went after other gods from among the gods of the peoples who were around them and bowed down to them. And they provoked the Lord to anger. They abandoned the Lord and served the Baals and the Ashtaroth. So the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he gave them over to plunderers, who plundered them. And he sold them into the hand of their surrounding enemies, so that they could no longer withstand their enemies. Whenever they marched out, the hand of the Lord was against them for harm, as the Lord had warned, and as the Lord had sworn to them, and they were in terrible distress. It's a heavy passage. So why did Israel keep rebelling against God? The answer is in verse 10. And I think it's one of the most tragic verses in all the Bible. It says that after Joshua and his generation died, there arose another generation after them who did not know the Lord or the work that he had done for Israel. Joshua's generation served God faithfully because they witnessed the great things that God did to save them. But the next generation that did not witness the 10 plagues of Egypt or the parting of the Red Sea did not serve the Lord. Instead, that generation turned against God, and God punished them. Joshua's generation may have served the Lord faithfully, as the text says, but they failed in one major way. They failed to teach the next generation about God. The next generation didn't witness God's miracles, so they wouldn't know about God unless they were taught by their parents. We must not make the same mistake that Joshua's generation made and neglect teaching our children. If we want our children to grow up knowing God, then we must do everything we can to teach the next generation about God. I believe there are 3 important lessons in this text for us today. And the first is this: if we do not teach the next generation about God, they will not believe God. This is exactly what happened to Israel. Joshua's generation failed to teach their children about God, so the next generation didn't believe in him. They rebelled against him. Brothers and sisters, if we do not teach the next generation about God, then how are they supposed to believe in him? Romans 10, verse 14 says, "How then will they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how are they to believe in him of whom they have never heard?" How can we expect our children to love God if we don't teach them about the God who loves them? If we don't teach the next generation about God, then who will? Some might argue that it's the pastor's job to teach the next generation. But listen to Deuteronomy 6, verses 5 through 7. I'll read them for you. "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children." And listen to what Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4 says. "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord." The Bible clearly says that parents are the ones who are primarily responsible for teaching the next generation about God. So, then, what is the pastor's job? Well, Ephesians chapter 6, verses 11 and 12 tell us. This is what it says. "And he, God, gave the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the shepherds," which is the New Testament word for pastors, "and teachers to equip the saints for the work of ministry." You see, the pastor's job is to equip the saints for the work of ministry. Christian parents, you are the saints. And the ministry that you are called to do is to make disciples in your family. The pastor's responsibility is primarily, not first and foremost, to teach your children. Obviously, it's part of their responsibility. But the pastor's primary responsibility is to equip you so that you can teach your children. Now, please understand me. I am not saying that pastors have no responsibility when it comes to teaching the next generation. If I really believed that, then why would I have accepted a position as an associate pastor for education and youth? Obviously, I don't believe that. But the Bible clearly says that the primary job of the pastor is to equip the saints to do the work of ministry, and that the ministry of teaching children is primarily a responsibility for parents. Some might argue that it's the church's responsibility to teach children about God. Parents take their kids to school to learn about math and science, and they take their kids to church to learn about God, right? Well, if that's what you think, then remember this. You are also part of the church. You can't escape your responsibility to teach your children by dumping them off on the church, because you are the church. Also, if children are supposed to learn everything they need to know about God at church, then why does God say in Deuteronomy 6 that we should teach our children when we sit in our house and walk by the way, and when we lie down and when we rise? Is God saying that we should all live at church and walk laps around the building and sleep in the sanctuary? don't think so. If we expect pastors and churches to teach our children everything they need to know about God, then we are setting them up for failure and suffering, and we are setting ourselves up for heartbreak. Some parents dangerously assume that their children will believe in God simply because they believe in God. Well, the book of Judges proves how foolish and tragic this assumption is. If children automatically inherited their parents' faith, then why did the Israelites turn against God generation after generation? Did they not have the faith gene? We inherit the sin of Adam, not the faith of Abraham. If we want our children to believe in God and obey God, then we need to roll up our sleeves and start teaching them about God. The second lesson from today's passage is this: if the next generation does not believe in God, they will reject God. This is exactly what happened in Israel. The generation after Joshua didn't know the Lord, so they rejected God and they began serving the gods of the surrounding nations. This is what we see in verses 11 and 12. In Joshua's generation, the people served God, but in the next generation, the people served Baal, the storm god of the Canaanites. The word for serve, used in verse 7, is the same used in verse 11. The devotion that Joshua's generation gave to God was the same devotion that the following generation gave to Baal. The people left God behind, and they devoted themselves to lifeless idols made of stone. Now, people don't really worship storm gods or fertility gods in our country today. Maybe there's a select few, I don't know. But there are plenty of other gods in America that we are tempted to worship. Joshua's generation failed to teach their children about God, and their children turned to the other gods that were around them. If we don't teach our children about God, then they could be led astray by the gods of our surrounding culture. Sex, drugs, money, clothes, success, materialism, or something else. We need to do everything we can to teach our children about God. That is how we will protect them from worshiping false gods. The last lesson from today's text is that if the next generation rejects God, they will be punished by God. Verses 14 through 15 describe how God sold the Israelites into the hands of their enemies when they rejected him. God promised that he wouldn't break his covenant with Israel, but God is also a jealous God and a holy God, and he will not put up with his people's sin and rebellion. This is exactly what Joshua told the Israelites before he died. Just a few chapters before, in Joshua chapter 24, at verse 19, this is what Joshua said to the nation of Israel. You are not able to serve the Lord, for he is a holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your transgressions or your sins. If you forsake the Lord and serve foreign gods, then he will turn and do you harm and consume you after having done you good. That's another heavy passage. But thankfully, God has provided a way for our sins to be forgiven in the death and resurrection of his Son, Jesus Christ. The cross removed the penalty for our sins, but the cross did not remove God's holiness or make him any less jealous for his people. If we believe in Jesus, God will spare us from the eternal punishment that our sins deserve, but he will not always spare us from the earthly consequences. In order to teach our children, we often have to give them consequences when they disobey. God is simply being a good father when he allows us to suffer the consequences of our sins. He wants to teach us to obey him so that we can enjoy his blessings. One of the most painful experiences for a parent is watching their children abandon their faith. I haven't experienced this, and I hope that I never do. But I've seen the pain that others have gone through when their children turned away from their faith. If your children have turned away from God, don't give up on them, and don't fall into despair. I know I've been saying that parents are the ones who are primarily responsible to teach their children about God, but I never said that it's the parents' job to save their children. Only God can save lives. Only God can change hearts. So don't dwell on your mistakes or your failures as a parent. Hope in God and pray for your children. You cannot save your children, but you can cry out to the God who can save your children. Parents, and I include myself in this, if you have kids who still live at home, then bring them up in the instruction of the Lord and teach them diligently while you can. It would be painful to watch your children walk away from God knowing that you did everything you could to teach them. But how much more painful would it be to live with the regret of knowing that you could have done much more to teach them about God, but you didn't? We can't assume that our children will be Christians just because we are. We can't assume that someone else will teach our children for us. We need to obey God's command to teach our children, and that is the main point of today's message. We must do everything we can to teach the next generation about God. As I was preparing this message, I was trying to think of some reasons why parents don't teach their children about God, or at least why they don't take it very seriously sometimes. I'm sure that there are many reasons that I didn't think of, but I'll share the three that I came up with. I believe that one reason parents don't teach their children is that they lack urgency. The reality is that we only have a limited time to teach our children. But our daily routines and the mundane seasons of life deceive us into thinking that tomorrow will be just like today. And so we procrastinate. But even when we are not actively teaching our children are still actively learning. I'm constantly amazed at what my 3-year-old son Levi learns even when I'm not trying to teach him. He's always listening to what I say, and he's always watching what I do. And if you're a parent, you understand what I'm talking about. And sometimes it's really scary. If I don't teach Levi about God, then he's going to start forming his own ideas about who God is. And they might be very wrong. Ephesians 5:16 tells us that we should make the best use of the time because the days are evil. So parents, time is short. What is more important than the souls of our children? Another reason that I think parents don't teach their children is they lack responsibility. If parents are the ones who are primarily responsible for teaching their children about God, and they don't do it, then they aren't fulfilling that God-given responsibility. Don't fall for the lie that it's the church's job to teach your kids for you. The devil is using that lie to keep parents from teaching their children. Now, don't get me wrong, I do believe that churches and pastors have some responsibility when it comes to teaching the next generation, but parents have the primary responsibility. So parents, what are the souls of your children worth? Are you going to pass off the responsibility of teaching your children to someone else and hope that they'll learn everything they need to know about God? And the last reason, the third reason that I came up with, why I believe some parents don't teach their children, is that they lack confidence. Many parents simply don't think they are capable of teaching. They think they should just leave the teaching to the experts. Well, allow me to burst your bubble. There's no such thing as experts. In Deuteronomy 6, God says, "You shall teach them God's words diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, and when you walk by the way, and when you lie down, and when you rise." We don't need to teach college-level theology to our kids. We just need to take advantage of the little opportunities that come up in everyday life to point them to Jesus. If God didn't think that you were capable of teaching your child about God, then why did he give you children? Why did he give you children? Well, those are the three reasons I came up with to explain why some parents don't teach their children. And so I would like to now share with you three solutions, three remedies for those who lack urgency, responsibility, and confidence. First, if you lack urgency, I strongly encourage you to take some time to think about what is at stake. Block off some time to think, pray, and meditate on Scripture. How important are your children? Do you want them to live a life that honors God? Do you want them to be with you in heaven? What does the Bible say about the brevity of life? I'm convinced that if you sit down and really think about it, and if you really do love your children, then you will have a renewed sense of urgency and a new passion to teach them about God. If your main weakness is that you lack responsibility, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that everybody's irresponsible, but if you lack the one responsibility of teaching your children, then reach out and get support. Or, excuse me, I skipped ahead too much. If you lack responsibility, then I encourage you to take your Bible and find out what God says about parenting and what God says about teaching the next generation. Our number one priority in life is to love the Lord with all our heart and with all our soul and with all our might. But after our own relationship with God, our greatest responsibility in this life is to teach others about God, and that starts with our own children. Parents, we are not able to save our children. We are not able to change their hearts, but we are able to teach them and pray for them. And that is all God asks us to do. If you don't believe that, then see what God says about it. Finally, if your main weakness is that you lack the confidence to teach your children, then reach out and get support. There are many wonderful resources available to help you teach your children about God. If you need to learn more theology, then check out a book in the library, buy a study Bible, attend a Bible study, or stay for Sunday school. If you're overwhelmed with your kids and you don't know what to do, then reach out to other Christian parents for advice. Don't let fear of being judged or feeling embarrassed keep you from asking for help. More than likely, any parent you reach out to experience the same things you're going through with their kids. Take advantage of opportunities at church. Get your kids to Kid Club and youth group and Sunday school. Most of all, above all, rely on God. Jesus said that with Him, all things are possible. And if we ask in His name, we will receive what we ask for. God will give us what we need to teach our children if we ask Him and depend on Him. I know that I've been speaking mostly to parents this morning, but this message is really for everyone. If you don't have children, or if your children have grown up and moved out, then consider how you might be able to help parents teach their children. Maybe you weren't the best parent, but you did a pretty good job, and your kids are all walking with the Lord today. You might have some valuable wisdom to share with a struggling parent. Maybe you don't have your own kids, but you've got time to spare and skills to share. There might be a way that you can serve in the educational ministries of the church. God commands parents to teach their children. It is a command. But there are many commands in the Bible that we are not able to obey without the help of others. So consider how you might be able to help someone else obey the command to teach their children. I also want to say something to children and teenagers who have probably been tuning me out this entire time. So, teens and kids, Ephesians 6:1-3 says this: Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land. Children and teenagers, you may not like it, but God has placed you under the authority of your mom and dad, and you need to obey them. I was a kid once, and I remember how hard it was sometimes to obey my mom and dad. But God promises to bless you if you honor your father and mother. It's the first commandment with a promise. Do you trust God to keep that promise? You might think your mom and dad are just trying to make your life miserable, but they're just trying to do what's best for you because they love you. I know it's hard to understand, but have a little faith. Trust that they love you. Trust that they want what's best for you. And trust that God will bless you if you obey them. Church, parents, we need to do everything we can to teach the next generation about God. I'm not an expert on parenting, and I'm not an expert on education, but I know a little about God, and I have a heart to teach others. And I also want to be a good daddy. I want to teach my boys about God, but I can't do it alone. I need your help. And I know that many of you want to be good teachers for your kids too. So we need to work together to help each other for for the glory of God and for the good of our children.